Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the American Heritage School Virtual College Fair. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Questions specific for a given institution or broader ones for all of our panelists are certainly welcome. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions that's happening, and all are being recorded and will be posted on the same website where you registered for this session in about a week's time. Now I'd like to turn it over to our presenters, and we'll start this evening with Rutgers University.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Marcy Rosas. I am Assistant Director of Recruitment and Outreach at Rutgers University, New Brunswick. Let me share my screen. I do have a presentation for you. I just want to start out by saying, telling you about Rutgers is that we are the flagship state university of New Jersey. We have a very beautiful and unique campus. It is made up of 5 smaller campuses or neighborhoods, if you will, that are right next to each other. Each one has its own distinct personality, environment, feel, whatever you want to call it. We like to kind of compare it to Disney World a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a little bit about Rutgers as we look at different parts of campus. And I only have 6 minutes, so I'm going to be going through pretty quickly here. Okay, so sorry. Okay, unfortunately, okay, here we go. I'm sorry, it's just a little bit slow. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. It actually started from the end, so I apologize for that. So this is taking a minute to load, I'm sorry. All right, so I'm going to start telling you a little bit about Rutgers, and then we could just kind of breeze through some of the pictures here. The first thing I want to tell you is that Rutgers was founded in 1766. So we are one of the original 9 colonial colleges, the 8th oldest institution of higher learning in the United States. Sorry, this is, I had it all preloaded and now it's not. All right, so I guess I'm gonna have to go on without my pictures. One of the pictures I was going to show you was different parts of our campus. Some parts of our campus are, very old-fashioned looking, the traditional Rutgers gate and old ivy-colored covered buildings, and then we have some very modern, state-of-the-art buildings as well. So within Rutgers, New Brunswick, we have our College Avenue campus has. Okay, let me see if I can get you there. Okay, this isn't working. I'm sorry, I apologize. All right, so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Rutgers. So we are a large research university. We have about 36,000 undergraduate students. We have offer over 100 majors. We were ranked number 50 out of 18,000 universities worldwide. Think about that for a minute. We are Division I, Big Ten athletics, and we are the most diverse school within the Big Ten. I'm trying to get here. Okay, let me see if I can get to this one here. All right, so let's do a little bit, because some of these, what I was gonna say was kind of goes along with the picture. So we moved over to our Livingston campus, which is where the Rutgers Athletic Center is located, or the RAC. All right, this is where we play all of our basketball games, but there's other things that happen here as well. We're really big on philanthropy at Rutgers, and we have a lot of big events to raise money. This is Dance Marathon, which typically is held in April. It wasn't held this past April, obviously because of the pandemic, but throughout the years, we've raised millions of dollars for children with cancer and blood disorders. And there's a lot of other events like this that take place at Rutgers. Next, we have we're going to move over to our bookstore. This is the largest Barnes and Noble bookstore on any college campus. Right behind the Barnes and Nobles is the New Jersey Transit train station, the New Brunswick station. And it takes 45 minutes to get into New York City, an hour and a half to get into Philadelphia, and about 3 hours to go to Washington, D.C. So we're like in an amazing, amazing location. You can kind of get to anywhere from Rutgers, New Brunswick. We do have some summer internships at the White House. So the reason why one of our students would want to get to Washington, D.C., besides visiting the nation's capital, of course. Okay, so it looks like, trying to get to the next image here. I wanted to also show you, we have a little bit of everything, because our College Avenue campus is set in downtown New Brunswick, and which has an urban feel to it. It has like a really, really nice eclectic mix of restaurants, coffee houses, shops, and thriving music scene. So it's like a nice small city, but at the same time, we have our Cook campus, which has a living, working farm. And we have farm animals, cows, sheep, pigs, you name it, we got it. So, you know, we have the urban setting and the rural setting and everything in between. Unfortunately, you know, this is much better when I have pictures to show you, but oh, here we go. Okay, this is the urban, you know, middle of downtown New Brunswick, and here's the farm. Okay, so I'm going to skip through these because these are videos and we don't have time for those, but we're really, really big. I mentioned that we're a big research university before, and we're really big on research and experiential learning, as we offer over 100 majors. All of our faculty does research, and they all use undergraduate students. So at Rutgers, you can get involved in research as soon as you get there. You don't have to wait till you have a certain number of credits. We have this great thing called the Arresti Research Center, which acts as a clearinghouse for all of our research. And I've heard students refer to it as the Craigslist of research, because it really allows students to shop around and apply for the research positions they're most interested in. One of the pictures here in the top left is one of our mega job fairs. Our Career Exploration Success Office hosts 2 of these per year, and they attract over 600 employers from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, all the surrounding areas. They also host internship fairs within those mega job fairs for our Rutgers sophomores and juniors as well. All right, I'm going to skip through some of these pictures, some beautiful places on campus. This is a Passion Puddle. If you come to one of our virtual tours, I'm going to throw the link in the chat box after I'm done. There's a really cool legend behind Passion Puddle, so I just want to mention that. We have 7 first-year schools. We have our School of Arts and Sciences, which offers most of our majors, our liberal arts school. We have the Ernest Mara School of Pharmacy. We have our School of Engineering, which offers 10 different Bachelor of Science degrees. Our School of Business, the vast majority of our business students get job offers from their internships. And we have Mason Grove School of the Arts, which is our School of Fine Arts, conservatory type teaching at a large university. I'm going to skip through these. A School of Environmental and Biological Sciences, I just want to mention, and our School of Nursing. I just want to say, I'm not going to keep going through the slides, but you can apply to Rutgers on the Rutgers application, on the coalition application. We were, you self-report your grades. We were test optional for 2021. We know we're going to be test optional for 2022. Don't know about 2023 yet. And I'm going to throw my contact information in the chat box. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry that there was so much confusion with this Prezi presentation. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop sharing now.
Great. Thank you so much, Marcy. Our next presentation tonight comes to us from DePaul University.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gracie Covarrubias, and I am an admission counselor at DePaul University. I am a very proud double demon, which is what we call our alum that did both their bachelor's and their master's degrees at DePaul. So I'm thrilled to be here today chatting about DePaul University. To kick us off, I want to talk a little generally. So we were founded in 1898, which means we've been around the block for quite some time. Fun fact about DePaul is that we are the largest Catholic university in the country. However, you don't have to be Catholic to go here. You don't even have to be on a faith journey. We are inclusive and welcoming of all faiths and none. But our namesake is St. Vincent de Paul, who's the patron saint of charity, which definitely plays into DePaul's campus culture because we are a very community service oriented campus. We're the nation's largest university with a primary mission of teaching and service, which means we are focused on teaching you as students. We maintain a student to faculty ratio of 15:1, which means your average class size is going to be about 30 students across all disciplines and all majors. We're really focused on making sure that your faculty members are not just your brilliant professors, but they're also mentors and people that you can connect with to learn more about the fields that interest you. Beyond that, we do really value a global mindset in that global classroom. So we have representation from all 50 states and over 111 different countries. As my Floridians, I can tell you I came from a very warm climate state. I'm originally from Southern California, and I adapted just fine to those Chicago winters. So have no fear. Trust me, it's totally worth the jump. And it's worth the jump because we are located smack dab in the city of Chicago. Our students get the best of both worlds. You have the hustle and bustle of the city, as well as the traditional small liberal arts school campus. We have two campuses, one downtown in the Loop, which is our business district, and one in Lincoln Park, which is a beautiful neighborhood on the north side of the city of Chicago. So our students really are immersed as a DePaul bubble. We are part of the city of Chicago. Both of our campuses serve as dual campuses. So everything you find on one campus, you'll also find on the other. And it's super easy to get in between both campuses. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes on the train. Every student at DePaul gets an unlimited train and bus pass, which is really your golden ticket to the city of Chicago. Not only do you use it to get to and from class, but you use it to explore neighborhoods all across the city of Chicago and really dive deep into city life. When it comes to DePaul, we have over 300 different programs to choose from across 10 schools and colleges. Some crowd favorite programs, our business school for one is one of the oldest business schools in the country. We tend to get a lot of accounting and finance students. We work very closely with the big four accounting firms to really fast track our students to a successful career in accountancy. Beyond that, our College of Communication is home to one of the nationally ranked public relations and advertising programs, and we get to work with all the major agencies across the city of Chicago. So you're going to find you get a whole lot of experiential learning and hands-on opportunities at DePaul. Beyond that, we've got a nationally ranked film and television program. All of our students in this program have access to the second largest production lot in the country, and it's second only to Hollywood. So it's a huge deal if your heart is in the film and television industry. And of course, at DePaul's heart, we are a liberal arts university, which means that you as a student get a whole lot of flexibility and a lot of wiggle room to choose what it is that you want to study. If you're passionate about combining interests in different majors, consider it done. Many of our students will pursue a double major or a double minor. I've seen quite a few triple minors in my time. So there's a lot of space to explore different interests and to combine them together to really create your own career path within DePaul. Beyond that, we also have an incredible fast track for students that are interested in going to medical school. We partner with a medical school just up the road from Chicago, and we actually fast track our students so they can do 3 years of undergrad at DePaul and then get straight into medical school. So it's a great program. If you know anything about the med school application process, you know it can be a little bit stressful. So you do our part to take the stress out of that. We also are home to 2 nationally ranked conservatories. Both our theater school and our School of Music are run conservatory style. So you as a student have full domain on how to develop yourself as an artist. If you're interested in either of those programs, definitely check out our website. They do have their own audition processes that is separate from DePaul's regular application. Now, when it comes to that experiential learning piece, we dive deep all across the city of Chicago. We are so fortunate that so many countries are headquartered here, and we as a university have excellent partnerships with them. Our students pursue internships as early as their freshman year, and having an internship is required by the time that you graduate. So we really want you to have those hands-on learning opportunities so you can start networking and connecting with employers all across the city of Chicago. And of course, you don't have to do it alone. We have a fantastic career center that works with you literally as early as day one of college. You can walk in in and we walk you through every step of that process. Beyond that, we have 185,000 DePaul alumni who are always willing to lend a hand, tell a story, or take a coffee date to make sure that you have the space to ask questions from folks in the industries that you're most excited to learn about. Now, when you're not working super hard, you've got the city of Chicago to have a whole lot of playtime. The city of Chicago is home to so many vibrant neighborhoods, theaters, professional sports teams. To be bored in the city of Chicago means that you are definitely trying to be bored because there's so much to do. And as a DePaul student, you nearly have unlimited access to all these places. And oftentimes you get into most of these spaces for free or through student-run events. And on-campus life is always booming. I always describe our DePaul students as compassionate collaborators because they really are truly passionate about connecting with one another in community and pursuing the things that interest them the most. We have over 350 different student organizations, everything from club sports to Greek life to Dungeons and Dragons Club. We've got a little bit of everything for everyone. So I promise you, you will find your place and you will find your home. So folks, if you liked what you heard, you got a little taste of DePaul, there's some information on how to apply on the screen. We are Common App exclusive, and we're also a very proud test optional school. We've been test optional for close to a decade, and we understand that right now it's so tough as a student to be able to not only study for the SAT or ACT, but to also be able to sit for the exam. So we support you in that test optional journey, and we've got some key deadlines up here. I always encourage my students to apply early action. If you apply early action, you get to know sooner rather than later. Important to note, we're early action, not early decision. And then, of course, as I shared earlier, if you're interested in our theater or music programs, those deadlines are up on the screen. So again, my name is Gracie, and thank you all so much for your time. Please reach out if you have any questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Gracie. Our next presentation this evening comes to us from Harvard University.
Thanks, Owen. Hey, everybody. It's great to be here with you all. My name is Mateus Falci. I'm actually a graduate of American Heritage Plantation from the class of 2010 and a graduate of Harvard from the class of 2014. So I'm an alumni rep, not an admissions rep like most of my colleagues. So my perspective is going to be a little more based on being a student in your shoes at an American Heritage school and then making their way over to Harvard, possibly in the future. So let's talk about Harvard. Obviously, it has the name, it has the recognition, right? But it is a school that you have to consider about what it offers you and what could make it a good fit for you. So one of the reasons I chose Harvard was I saw obviously the opportunities I would have in the academics and extracurriculars while I was there. I knew I'd be challenged. I knew I'd have peers that would make me amazed by what they'd accomplished already and what they were working on. But I also liked a lot of other things about Harvard. For instance, I love the fact that I was in Cambridge and I'd have access to Boston and the city around me. And I was really, really brought to Harvard by their generous financial aid, something that beyond helping me pay for tuition and room and board, also carried on to experiences as a student. And one of the things I loved was that in my time as a student at Harvard, I was able to travel the world on their budget, given their generous summer programs and scholarships for travel that I got through them. So that's just a few of the reasons that I came to Harvard. I now want to give you kind of like a few tips and things about what Harvard looks for in an applicant that maybe if you're a freshman or a sophomore can help you think about how you shape your high school career. And if you're a junior thinking of applying in the fall, can help you kind of think about what you want to bring out in your application. So everything you're seeing here is straight from the Harvard website. It's filled with good resources for you. I'm going to start by going to the what we look for. So in the what we look for section, there are a series of several questions to get you thinking about who you are as a person, how you define yourself, what kind of member of the community you are. These are all things that Harvard admissions officers take really seriously, right? We know that we're expecting academic rigor, good test scores if you choose to take the tests, challenging yourself with extracurriculars, being involved in a variety of those. But beyond that, Harvard's also looking at what kind of person you are, what kind of impact you had on your community, be it your school, be it somewhere outside of the school that's really important to you, right? These are all things that are important. So on this list, a few of these questions stand out to me. One of those is, where is it here? The personal character. How open are you to new ideas and people, right? Think about the fact that Harvard is considering how will you individually be part of this group of 2,000 new incoming freshmen to help form a community that's supportive of each other, that can grow together and learn from each other. That's something really important to think about. These questions really are great to take a look at and kind of get you thinking about where you're at in high school, what activities you're pursuing at the moment, and how they might factor in to your application down the line. Another thing I like to highlight is from the application tips here on Harvard's website. And I'm just picking one thing because I usually get this question in previous college fairs, is about your extracurriculars. And I want to bring your attention to this first sentence right here. We are much more interested in the quality of students' activities than their quantity. So I remember being in Heritage and feeling like I had to be involved in every club and have as many board positions as I could. And I don't knock that at all. I certainly, was very, very involved, but I did make sure to pick a few activities that really, really focused my strengths and really allowed me to have an impact on the school or the community, be it through the arts, be it through athletics, be it through the sciences, whatever it might be for you. Think about, in addition to all the activities you're involved in, picking a few that really show your passion and your ability to give back to the community around you. Okay, moving on. I've told you a little bit about why I chose Harvard. I think one of the cool things that I don't often get to talk about, but would like to share with you, is Harvard's residential life and how it works. Right here, you're seeing a video of the freshman dining hall. It's the Hogwarts-looking building called Annenberg. And this is where you as a freshman eat all your meals. Now, the really cool thing about Harvard housing is that after your freshman year, you and a group of up to 8 friends create what's called a blocking group and get lotteried into one of 12 upper level houses. These houses then become these communities within communities where you have your dining hall, your library, your advisors, live-in tutors, your gym. All these things are based around your house. And I had no idea how important this would be to me on a community level in really getting to know my peers and feeling like I had a home away from home and making the most of my Harvard experience. And I think it's a special, special thing to kind of spend 3 out of your 4 college years in one place, developing and becoming part of a community within Harvard's greater community. So obviously I have a lot more to share, but I do want to end, for those who are curious, to mention the financial aid a little bit. Harvard's financial aid is really, really generous. And on the website, you can go and calculate your costs. I recommend, if you're interested, you sit down with your parent, you put down all your information, and Harvard will let you know how much aid they would give you. Again, this is something that basically, if you are accepted to Harvard, you don't have to earn any scholarship on merit. They will help you pay what you need help in order to pay for your time there. So I'm excited to answer some of your questions later, and thank you so much for your time.
Great, thank you so much. Our next presentation this evening comes to us from Dooley University.
Thank you for that. Let me just share real quick. Alrighty, my name is Emily Gruby, and I'm the Global Recruitment Officer at Dooley University, which is a joint venture institution that Duke University actually opened up over in China. So while you do spend the majority of your time in China, you do have the opportunity to spend a semester at Duke here in North Carolina. And when you graduate, you get degrees from both institutions. And I do want to point out that, since we only have 6 minutes here tonight, I have included a QR code on each of the slides that will lead you to our virtual events page, which has campus tours led by current students and information sessions led by myself and other members of the admissions team. So I definitely encourage you to check that out so you can learn a little bit more, because those are a little bit longer than 6 minutes. You may not have heard of Kunshan before. It is considered to be a small city in China. However, it's about 2 million people, so pretty big compared to what we're used to in the US. But it is located right in the middle of Suzhou and Shanghai. Shanghai is one of the biggest cities in the world, and then Suzhou is about the population of New York City. So there's a lot of opportunities there. And both cities only take about 20 minutes via high-speed train to access from Kunshan. So we are a liberal arts and sciences institution. DKU is trying to reinvent the traditional notion of liberal arts by creating experiential and interdisciplinary courses. Our majors are all blended disciplines, and I'll give you a glimpse into those in just a moment. But we are based in arts and humanities, social sciences, and natural sciences. We've kind of paved the way for some of those experiential components of the education through our 4+1 academic week. So we only have classes Monday through Thursday. Fridays are meant for co-curricular education, whether that be research with a faculty member, whether it be field trips with some of your professors, or going to Shanghai or Suzhou with the Career Center on career tracks, or maybe even some travel opportunities on those Fridays. There are a lot of opportunities to really utilize those to the max. We also have a pretty innovative semester schedule. So we're kind of a hybrid between the typical US calendar and a Chinese academic calendar, meaning that we do run from August to December and then have a winter break and then come back from January to May. But each session is split into each semester is split into 2 7-week terms. And you also get off special like Chinese holidays like Golden Week in the fall and Chinese New Year in the spring. So there's plenty of time to explore the local area on your own, or even travel around Asia, which is also very affordable to do once you're already in China. We currently have students from over 50 countries. The majority of our students do come from China. That's part of being a joint venture institution. So at least 51% have to come from China, but the rest come from all over the world. Students from the US only make up about 15% of our students. And I'm totally biased, but I think our students from all over are just, really impressive and some of the coolest students that I've ever met. They've really embraced us being a new institution and really wanting to leave their mark on the institution as well by creating over 40 student organizations over the last 3 years, and more created all the time as well. So they're very fun and adventurous and very hardworking. We do have a very engaging academic environment. I do like to remind students that our classes are all taught in English, so you don't have to know any Chinese prior to enrolling. All international students will be required to take Chinese once you enroll, but again, you don't have to know any prior to coming. We do have a very small student body. We currently only have freshmen through juniors now. So our incoming freshman class next year will actually be the first class where we have all 4 classes represented. We have a 7-to-1 student faculty ratio, which really allows for a mentorship focus between faculty and students. And I also like to point out, if you know anything about China, you may have heard that there is some websites that are blocked and censorship and things like that. But as a joint venture institution, we function more like a US style institution, and we have complete academic freedom as well as free and open internet. These are our majors. I'm not going to spend too much time on this slide, but just to give you a little glimpse, we do have our majors that are underlined, and then the hollow bullet points underneath are the individual tracks within those majors that you choose. So this is what we mean by blended disciplines. And then on top of your majors, you'll take about 1/3 of your courses as electives. So you really have a lot of time to explore even before you have to declare a major. Alrighty, we do have an admitted student event in non-COVID times where if you are admitted to DKU, we will actually bring you over to China in April of your senior year to have a chance to see campus and sit in on some sample classes and things like that to make the decision whether or not this is the right fit for you. So this is just a photo from that from 2019. And finally, we are on the Common App. We have a free application. We also, starting this year, we also have the option to apply as part of your Duke application. So if you are already applying through Duke, you can check off that you want to have your application sent through us to us as well. But otherwise, we are, like I said, we do have our own application on Common App. It is a free application, and all students who apply will be automatically considered for merit-based aid. And then you just need to submit your CSS profile to be considered for need-based aid. Alrighty, well, thank you so much for joining.
Great, thank you so much, Emily. Just a reminder that the Q&A widget is available should you have any questions about specific institutions you're hearing about or broader ones for any of our panelists. Up next, I'm pleased to introduce Franklin and Marshall College.
Hello, everyone. Let me just share my screen. Okay, my name is Caitlin Oliver, and I'm one of the Senior Assistant Directors of Admission at Franklin and Marshall College. I'm also an alum of F&M and graduated in 2016, and very excited to talk with you all about Franklin and Marshall. F&M is a small liberal arts school founded in 1787 during the pre-revolutionary period and is located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is in central PA. What's really nice about our location is that we're very accessible to larger cities like Philadelphia. We're about an hour and a half from there, about an hour and a half from Baltimore, Maryland, about 3 hours from New York City, about 2 hours from DC. And the Amtrak station is literally within a 10-minute walk from campus. So our students really enjoy having the accessibility to larger sort of cities, but Lancaster in itself is a great town where students engage within the community, which I'll talk about throughout the presentation. F&M is a small liberal arts school. We have roughly 2,400 students coming from 51 countries and 47 states. So I always say that our school is definitely a global institution where you'll be surrounded by people from all walks of life, from all backgrounds. 22% of our students are international students. About 25% of our students are domestic students of color. About 20% of our students are first generation. And you can see the breakdown of, geographic, some other student background sort of percentages on our slide. But I share those numbers because in your average class size of 17 students and a 9-to-1 student to faculty ratio, you're able to engage in a lot of dialogue and a lot of discussion. And being able to do that in this small class size, learning from each other, you're expanding your mind and you're expanding your thought process, but it's really the core and the foundation of the liberal arts experience at F&M. We want our students to develop a forward-thinking mindset that's reimaginative and reinventive. And that's really where the learning begins. And I'm going to briefly walk you through the 4 things that sort of make up who we are to help promote this sort of mindset in the liberal arts at Franklin and Marshall. The first one is we set new standards of academic excellence. At F&M, I always tell students you have a lot to choose from. And of course, we have a core curriculum to make sure that you have sort of a well-rounded education where you have a solid foundation taking classes in the arts and the humanities and trying new things in classes that you may not have experienced. But what's nice that these class sizes are small and 80% of our classes are discussion based. So you're able to have conversations with professors, with peers. Part of the core curriculum that I like to talk about are our connections courses. And connections courses are sort of your first year seminar that other schools may talk about and introduce you to what it means to be a liberal arts student. So they're very interdisciplinary in nature. And the professor that teaches that class will also be your academic advisor. So you get to work along with that professor in and out of the classroom along your academic journey. I always say that students have full autonomy of their experience. So we personalize education and that no one student has the same experience as another. We have 62 major fields of study, which students can major in. They can double major, which is 2 full majors. You can do a joint major, which is about half of 2 majors. You can add a minor to that. So you have full freedom. There are no limits in terms of that experience. And on top of that, a way our students personalize education is through research, which is a big deal. And research across all academic areas, not just in the STEM field. 65% of our students conduct research while they're on campus, which is a great opportunity, especially because F&M is only undergraduate. So you can start that opportunity as young as your first year on campus, really building up your resume and building up your CV and getting hands-on experience about things you are learning in the classroom. Of course, there are other ways to personalize your education through studying abroad. That's a big deal on our campus. About 55% of our students study off campus, whether it be for a year, a semester, a spring break, a winter break. Again, we don't want to add those limits. The arts, and that can be as academic or as extracurricular as you want it to be. We have 2 orchestras, 2 bands, a jazz band and jazz ensemble for students to participate in. And then athletics, where we're Division III in the Centennial Conference of the NCAA. And we have 27 varsity sports on our campus that our students decide to participate in on the competitive level. And I think I always end in terms of personalizing your education with athletics because it goes well right into our community. Where at F&M, it is sort of how we stand with each other. And we call the community the F&Emily, which is, your F&M family, where you really build connections with people that will last a lifetime. And how we promote that at F&M is through our housing. We have 5 college houses where our students will live in their first year, and you're divided up into that college house based on your connections course, that first year seminar that I mentioned. These college houses bridge the academic and the social life on our campus, Academically, because it's based on that connections course, and on the first floor of the college house, there's a seminar room, a great room, a fireplace room, and a kitchen, all for the house's use. And in that seminar room, you'll have that connections course, which is super nice. You just come downstairs and ready for class. And then the social side is that they're all student run and governed, and they have their own form of government. Whether it be Ware College House has a parliament, Weiss College House has an assembly, Brooks College House has a Congress, and students serve on that to put on different programmings to get students out of their rooms into the common spaces, really getting to know the people they're living with, getting to know the people that they're in classes with, and building a smaller community within the small community of F&M. Then the other side of our community are clubs and organizations. We have over 110 organizations, and on average, our students are involved, and 3 to 5 extracurriculars on top of their academics. So really promote leadership and promote our students to be involved and engaged and make change, not only on campus, but in the broader Lancaster community. And then the last point I'm going to talk about is we stand with each other, because we want to make sure that you're going to be successful after your time at F&M. And I always say that F&M is not just for 4 years, it's for life. And how we promote that is through the Office of Student and Postgraduate Development, which is a mouthful. Students call it OSPGAD. That's our career services, where students will have an advisor right off the bat their first year that will work with you throughout the 4 years to make sure you're prepared for interviews, help you with your resume, help you apply to grad school, medical school, law school, help you apply for jobs, really get you to develop professionally and prepare you for how to articulate that 4-year experience into the real world. And 98% of the class of 2019 had a job or pursuing higher education at least 6 months after graduation. So our students are very successful, and we're very proud of them and know that they are successful in the fields that they decide to go into. Here's a little bit about our application process. We're on the Common App and the Coalition app. We take the SAT and the ACT, but we're also test optional. We've been test optional for over a decade. Interviews are recommended, they're required for admission. There are deadlines, and then there's also my contact information. I work specifically with students from Florida, so please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions at all. I'd be happy to chat. At F&M, we are a need-based institution for financial aid, and we plan to meet 100% of institutional demonstrated need for all 4 years. We run the FAFSA and the CSS profile. We have the net price calculator on our website, which I think another school mentioned. So please feel free to engage with us and ask any and all questions that you may have. We are here as a resource for you, and I would love to chat more about F&M. But thank you for listening.
Great, thank you so much. We'll have time for Q&A after our final presentation, which comes to us tonight from Emory University.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. My name is Rashmi Anand, and I work at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. One quick note that I do want to make to you all, I am not the person who would necessarily be overseeing the state of Florida or reviewing your application. Unfortunately, she is out sick tonight, but I'm happy to post all of our advisors' contact information after our time together today. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I do have a few slides to share with everyone. Okay, so you should now be able to see just an overview of our Atlanta campus here. So the picture on your screen is sort of an aerial shot of our campus in Atlanta. As you can see, tons and tons of trees, lots of green space. Atlanta as a whole is a very green city. We're often referred to as the city within the forest. And in this picture, you can sort of see all of the buildings with the red roofs towards the foreground of your screen. That's all part of our Atlanta campus. And in the background there, you can see the skyline of Atlanta. Now, this picture was taken a couple of years ago, so that skyline has changed quite a bit. But we're about a 10-minute ride or so away from that midtown downtown area of Atlanta. So the campus itself is within a residential neighborhood, but you have sort of that world-class education with our faculty members at Emory University, but you have all of the opportunities that come with being part of this historic and innovative city of Atlanta. So huge partnership with the city of Atlanta. That's definitely one of the things that our students are really able to take full advantage of being Emory students. We are also a Tier 1 research institution, but we are highly rooted in the liberal arts. We think of liberal arts as a means to inquiry beyond all else. Emory educations really emphasize innovation through teaching, through research, through service, through creative expression. We're known for graduating critical thinkers and compassionate leaders. That's really one of the things that you're going to see regardless of what academic discipline you choose to pursue when you're with us at Emory. In our progressive, in our global city of Atlanta, students really do take a full advantage of everything the city has to offer. We have a huge concentration of Fortune 500 and 1,000 companies that are sort of headquartered within the city of Atlanta. Also, more recently, a huge hub for nonprofit, for tech, for film. So we are #1 in terms of creating feature films in the city of Atlanta. So almost anything that you watch, there might be a good portion of it filmed in Atlanta. And I guarantee you at some point during your 4 years with us at Emory, you're going to walk across campus and there's going to be a massive film crew sort of blocking your path, which is actually pretty cool. So our students really do get to explore fun things around town through internships, through service, and whatever is exciting to them. When you are considering Emory University, you actually have a few different choices available to you. So I love that arrow infographic that's at the top of your screen because it really does highlight what the course of your 4 years at Emory could look like. You can choose to begin at Emory College of Arts and Sciences in Atlanta, or you can choose to begin at Oxford College of Emory University. Both offer really rigorous academic experiences that are guided by our faculty members, that are grounded in liberal arts, that are grounded in interdisciplinary study and in evidence-based learning. But you'll notice that there's sort of a junction there as from sophomore year to junior year. So based on what our students are interested in studying, they'll either continue on into the Gosweda Business School, the Woodruff School of Nursing, and then any major outside of business or nursing is located there at Emory College of Arts and Sciences. We can think of this as 2 front doors in and then 3 doors out over the course of your 4 years. Another way to think about it is that every single graduating class, about 75% of those students will have started at Emory College, and about 25% of those students will have started their undergraduate experience at Oxford College, but the two are academically equivalent. I actually just want to spend a little bit of time talking about these 2 front doors into the university and what the different feel is across the two. Like I said, academically equivalent, but just environmentally really, really distinct. Oxford has more of that private liberal arts college vibe. There's a top-notch teaching faculty on this campus. You might recall from the prior slide that Oxford only houses students within the first 2 years of that full 4-year degree. So this means that this campus is much smaller. There's only about 500 students in every single class, so only about 1,000 students between first years and sophomores. Recall again that all of our juniors and seniors are located on our campus in Atlanta in one of those 3 divisions. So this also means that our sophomores at Oxford sort of get to function like seniors at any other institution would in terms of early access to leadership development. Our sophomores are the ones who are sort of running the clubs and organizations here on the Oxford campus. Meanwhile, Emory College feels a little bit more like your medium-sized research institution, really known for having a research faculty on this campus within those first 2 years. There's around 7,000 or so undergraduate students on this campus. And this campus also plays host to all of our graduate and professional divisions. So places like the School of Medicine, the School of Law, School of Public Health, all located here on this Atlanta campus. You're going to find a very diverse and engaged community, regardless of which campus you choose to begin on. We are consistently recognized for the quality of our student life at Emory across both campuses. This year, we're actually #6 recognized by the Princeton Review in terms of quality of student life. So this includes things like mental health, like work-life balance, like the ability to collaborate with a faculty member on a research project of your own choosing. It doesn't mean that we are a perfect place, but it does mean that we are a campus where all of the things that are important to you all are the same things that are going to be of high priority to our faculty and our staff members. And so our mission is to make sure that we continue to be student focused. And so I think that's one of the things that really lends itself to a high quality of student life at Emory. Like many of my colleagues, I'm also an alum of Emory, so any questions that you have about that experience, I'm certainly happy to help answer. When you apply to Emory University, you can actually apply to either one or both of our undergraduate entry points with just one application and one application fee. If you choose to apply to both, please know that this does not disadvantage your process in any way. It's actually still the same admissions committee that's reviewing your decision for both undergraduate colleges. And we also allow you to mix and match your decision plans across your 2 front doors, however you would like. Our review process is holistic, like many of my colleagues have talked about before. We do take into account a number of different factors. I would say arguably the most important of these is going to be your academic preparation. So to that end, we're going to consider things like the classes that you're choosing to take within the context of what's actually offered to you at your school and how you're performing in those classes. Like many of my colleagues have also talked about before, we are test optional. We were test optional for this past year, and we will continue to be test optional for the upcoming year as well. So if you're applying for admission for the fall of 2022, you're not going to be disadvantaged if you choose not to submit an SAT or an ACT score there as well. We do meet 100% of demonstrated financial need for all of our admitted domestic applicants. So if you are admitted and you've applied for financial aid, then you should be receiving that information about 24 to 48 hours after your admission decision is released to you. We do have a lot of additional resources that you're certainly welcome to take advantage of after our session here today. So feel free to check out our website. Feel free to take a virtual tour. There's virtual tours for both undergraduate campuses, as well as virtual programming for both undergraduate campuses. So if you're interested in hearing more from a student who studies on the Atlanta campus or a student who studies on the Oxford campus, you're going to find both of those all located on the same virtual visit website there. So with that being said, thanks so much for your time. I am going to make sure to post contact information in the chat for you all, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you to all of our panelists for sharing your institutions with us. We do just have a few moments remaining, so certainly if you're looking to continue engaging with our panelists afterwards, they've all shared their contact information. But for now, to kind of wrap it up, we'll bring back everyone, and for just a real quick hit answer in the order of our initial presentations as well. If an individual were to kind of be looking at your college, what do you think is one event or tradition that they just absolutely need to know and really look forward to? And we can go in the same order as our initial presentations.
I'm not able to put my video on for some reason, but I guess everyone can hear me. So this is Marcy from Rutgers, and we have a lot of different traditions, but probably one of our best traditions are the bed races on the College Avenue campus. This is during homecoming weekends. We close the College Avenue campus, and students enter these races where they actually decorate beds on wheels. So they have all different themes. You can kind of think of like different floats, like on a parade. They have all different themes, and they dress up, in costumes, and they race these beds up and down College Avenue. It's like a really crazy thing, but it's very unique and definitely memorable. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So my hands down favorite DePaul tradition is actually the first class that every student at DePaul has to take. It's called our Chicago Quarter program. Because the city of Chicago is so magnificent, we actually offer a special topics class with over 72 different topics to choose from. Everything from justice in the city to death in the city to sports in the city, you name it. So many cool classes. Each of them is only about 20 students, and it's led by 3 fantastic folks, either a DePaul faculty member and a DePaul staff member, as well as a Chicago Quarter mentor. And those 3 people keep you alive that first quarter of college. They really do make sure you have a community and a home to be part of within the DePaul community. And it's a crash course on cool things about Chicago, as well as a crash course on DePaul. We love being sure that we can welcome everybody to our community and really make you feel like you've got a place here.
My favorite tradition probably has to be the Harvard-Yale football game. It's really the only football game where we really take it seriously, and so it's always been fun. It's great that every year you also, sometimes it's one year it's on Harvard, the other year it's on Yale, so there's that aspect of traveling and visiting a fellow school. But it's a great day just to get together with your friends, watch some football, and just enjoy a weekend like you wouldn't otherwise on campus.
Okay, we're a pretty new institution, so we don't have too many firm traditions yet. But I think in the same vein as Harvard's tradition, we do have that close connection with Duke. So we live stream the Duke UNC basketball game all the way in China, and that's been a fun way to kind of stay connected with Duke's campus as well.
So I would say my favorite tradition at FNM is called Flapjack Fest. which is the night before the first day of finals each semester, where the dining halls open from 8 to midnight and they serve breakfast, because who doesn't love breakfast for dinner? But the nice part about it, and really brings the community together, because your breakfast is being served to you by faculty and professional staff from campus, really just offering words of encouragement, like answering last minute questions, and just like a fun vibe. There's music playing. They have like scratch paper on tables and crayons for you just to draw and de-stress from sort of getting a break from being in the library. So I would say that's my favorite tradition at FNM.
At Emory University, in addition to our actual official mascot, which is the Emory Eagle, we also have an unofficial mascot. And our unofficial mascot is this person. No one actually knows who it is, but this person who dresses up like a skeleton. The skeleton's name is Dooley. And it sounds weirder than it actually is. No, it's probably just as weird as I'm saying it, but no one knows who's inside this costume of the skeleton. The skeleton's last name is Dooley, and the first name is derived from whoever the current Emory president is. So for example, our last Dooley was named Claire S. Dooley for Claire Stirk, our former president. Our current Dooley is known as Gregory F. Dooley for our new president at Emory. Now, Dooley is surrounded by bodyguards so that no one can unmask Dooley. And these are students that are selected out of the standout leaders on campus. There's a Dooley for the Oxford campus. There's a Dooley for the Emory College campus. Very different personalities. But if Dooley shows up to your class, because yes, Dooley is just running around campus sometimes during the spring. So if Dooley shows up to your class, the professor has to let you out of class for the rest of the day. So people write Dooley these poems and saying, hey, Dooley, and they have to rhyme. They have to write Dooley a rhyming poem and say, Dooley, I have an exam in physics. It would be great if you could get us out of that. However you say that, making that rhyme, and Dooley will review and consider your request and possibly come let you out of class.
Great. Thank you all for sharing those traditions or special stories about your campus as well as your institutions overall with us. And thank you to all of our viewers for tuning in this evening for the virtual college fair. When this webinar ends, there will be a quick 4-question survey, and we would appreciate any feedback that you can provide. And just a reminder that this was one of many sessions being offered this evening, and recordings of all of them will be posted in about a week's time on the same website where you registered for this session. Thanks again and have a great night.